Somebody will ask for this. We also reach out to them and let them know, hey, we can get you an exact payment, no obligation with taxes, insurance, P&I with your tailored to your credit score if that's something that you would like, because the payment you're seeing on the website is more than likely off. So if you got a couple minutes, I'll just take a little bit of information and get that over to our partner here, and they can deliver that to you. Little things like that in terms of adding value and doing something for others to be able to get a social security number, a date of birth, and all the things you guys see me talk about on social media here live on the calls, and how we position that and talk about those value propositions and really do something for them versus just saying, hey, do you want to get pre-approved, or you're going to need cash, or you're going to need a mortgage. There's actually things there that they're getting out of it by exchanging that information with you. So
Nice.
cool. That's the only way I can control quality. I started building our call center about 6 years ago, and from a quality standpoint, where agents and ISAs are fighting over if they should get their ass out of bed at 10 o'clock on a Saturday morning or 9 o'clock, whatever, and then they couldn't get approved or they don't show up or whatever, and so to build this thing, I've been through every battle with our agents and every growing pain, and I've done it every way. And throughout this process, where you guys are at, I'm able to tell stories of when I was there doing it and the changes I had to make to get to new levels, to experience new growth with some of this stuff. And there was one point in time where all we did was set the appointments, right? And there was one point in time where I just gave the number to the lender and a name, and then he was trying to catch up with them when they was playing phone tag, and then really putting in that metric where we was collecting all the information, even though they still got to call, confirm all the information, and let them know that they're pulling credit and what's going on. It just furthers that quality, and if you can position yourself, demonstrate authority, and be the expert to get that information and get that process started, you can bet that when a lender calls them, if somebody's already gave you their social, they're going to answer, versus lag time or the lender not being able to get a hold of them, then you're reworking old work because we didn't do it correctly the first time, and following up to see why they haven't called the lender if they're still interested. And then the client's telling you, I've got their voicemail. Yeah, I've been meaning to call them, just been busy, whatever it may be. And so we'll definitely dig into all this stuff and help you guys get to those different levels as well quickly. Cool. Carlos, I like it, man. 18 to 1. I'm assuming these are some type of internet leads.
Correct.
What system are you running? Boomtown, Commissions Inc.,
Alex,
Geeks. What?
what did you say?
What's your platform?
Oh, Team Leads. Yeah, Team Leads is our platform, the Vulcan dialer.
Gotcha. Remember that from last week. All right. Cool, man. Well, keep hanging around, man. I like it.
Okay, cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, what is the topic right now we're discussing? Right now, what we're doing, Heidi, just to it's hard to focus on this call. This is an accountability call, Heidi. So this is where the ISAs are basically giving me their numbers and I'm giving them feedback. And then what we're going to cover today. Do I have am I laggy on everybody's end? Here, here's what I'll do. I'll sign in a different way.
All right, guys. Is that better? Mic check, mic check. Hopefully we're better. Much better, much better. Yeah, I apologize, guys. We got it's storming out here in Wichita. A couple of tornadoes touched down here in Kansas, and it's coming again. So I apologize. Thanks for giving me a heads up. Yeah, so to bring to bring some clarity, Heidi, to the call, what's going on right now is the accountability metric in the foundations group is really getting the habits of adding your data into the spreadsheet, looking for patterns, getting feedback from myself, seeing how every other ISA in here is converting, and then once we get done with that today, this is really a new group. Some people, it's their second call in the foundations group, or it's your first day. And so I want to, after we get some feedback from the numbers, I'm going to explain and show the call log in detail and answer questions, and then also the master tracker. So that's what you can expect today. All right. Sacramento, love it. Cool. Let's keep moving. Berry Group, I think Nikki's behind that name, right? Want to mute yourself? Nikki. You're unmuted. So do you have some numbers for me, Nikki? You're unmuted. I don't know if your phone is muted or what, but you're live. Huh. Anyways, I'll let you get that figured out. We're gonna move along. Billy, you're next on deck. Brother, you want to mute yourself? Nope, we can't hear you.
Yeah, I don't.
What's going on, sir?
Okay, so I'm just hopping on, just kind of listening on a thing. I'm not an ISA, so I don't have any metrics for you.
Okay. All right.
Hey, this is Heidi. Yeah, we don't have any metrics. We just implemented the full-time ISA just last week, so we're kind of trying to learn from everyone and hear how we should keep track of the metrics and what's the most effective way to have a follow-up and make sure that these leads are not falling through the cracks, essentially.
Okay. So, Heidi, what is your role?
I'm the I'm the real estate broker, team leader, whatever you want to call me.
Team
Janitor,
leader.
whatever you want to call me.
Cool.
I'm the filling person for whoever doesn't do what they're supposed to do.
All right. And Lance is ISA?
So we have
Lance and Casey ISA, and then Samantha, who's here with us as well.
We've chosen to break it up on our team. We want to see what strategy is best way to approach, and I know that Billy had come to you guys for coaching regarding the ISA. So we have 3 different head ISAs, I guess how you call it, and specific leads go to each ISA, and we're just waiting to see how effective each one is really following up and closing deals, and what our conversion rate is, because we don't know. This is the main reason why we're going into coaching, because we don't have metrics, we don't track our metrics. Right. It's been harder.
And I'll be upfront with you guys too, everybody else on this call. Getting into the foundations group, this is really what we focus on, the accountability, the numbers, kind of the boring stuff, but it's the foundation that has to be laid so you know what you're looking at, and really honing in that valid conversation to appointment ratio, and then the confirm that actually shows up, and then getting your systems in place, duplicating our systems, really getting into missing pieces with you guys, what you guys are currently doing, what you're seeing our ISAs live doing. You're able to chat with them, listen to live calls, screen share with them. And then after we get all this stuff done, you guys cycle to the top level sales training and stuff in the advanced group. And so each week we will hammer through the numbers. We'll just get quicker at it and much better with tracking this stuff. And so a lot of what you guys are looking for, we'll definitely get into it over these next 90 days. Cool.
Right, right, and that's essentially what. And this is my first meeting call. I wasn't here on the last meeting call, but from what I'm hearing so far, I kind of honestly, to be honest with you, I kind of tuned myself out when it was everybody else's numbers because it doesn't have anything to do with my team as a team leader here. So I appreciate the accountability, but is there any way you can either, like you said, kind of fly through it quickly, or do it on an individual basis with each team, since you are the coach with each team?
No, to be able to have access for myself, I also own part of Select Homes Real Estate, and I run our team that sells 1,000 homes a month. So to be able to get me one-on-one personally, you'd be paying Dirk Zeller, Bob Corcoran numbers, something like that. So this is a way to have access to myself and get it in a group environment. But I promise you, it picks up as you guys are showing up every week with your numbers. We'll burn through that, and then we get into also some deeper level stuff. This foundation group isn't where I just show up with a bunch of content and puke it on you guys like traditional coaching. This is really me. This is really me meeting you guys where you're at with your business, and then you all are learning together throughout your experiences and hearing me give each one of you guys feedback, and keep taking stuff away from that. And then with call nights, we're making live calls together and getting feedback in that sense. But if you think that some of your other teammates would do better with in the advanced group with some sales training too or whatever until we get to that point, they're okay to get in that group. Most people's biggest problem is they don't know what they're looking at in terms of numbers or systems, and I want to get their systems in place and their numbers intact in terms of that valid conversation to appointment ratio before we move on to sales training that it's exciting and fun, right? So
no, I respect that, and I respect everybody else's time too, so maybe that's a conversation that Billy and I can have with you individually from principal to principal. So keep doing what you're doing.
And you guys have access to that. I do one-on-ones. I just as long as people aren't abusing them. If a team feels like, hey, I'd like, some people ask me to run a sales meeting for them virtually, or do something like that. I definitely am flexible. And so get with Mark if that's needed. And other than that, I look forward to seeing you guys grow and having you here. So
likewise, I appreciate your time.
Thanks, Heidi. All right, Jared Phillips, next on deck.
Oh man, how are you?
You doing good? You was in the advanced group today. There was some good stuff in there, right?
Oh yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah, you go from that to the accountability call, right? It's like, oh gosh, but
man, I need some freshening up on this stuff. I need to know how to navigate these Excel sheets a little bit better.
Yeah.
So I'm good with it, man. I accidentally erased a bunch of those formulas in that call log, so I had to go back and manually enter all of them back in. It was not a fun time.
Well, yeah, we could have just sent you another one, and for the people that you guys see that we simulated some ISA 1, ISA 2, ISA 3 and stuff like that, just leave that stuff in there, and as you're adding your numbers, it will wipe it out, because if you do go and just delete it or clear it, you're clearing out all those formulas too. So
yeah, it wasn't fun, but I got it fixed, so it's all good now.
What's your numbers look like?
So I had 280 dials, 66 connects, 53 valid conversations, 7 pre-apps, 5 buyer appointments, and 5 listing appointments.
I like the 7 pre-approval attempts. So you're getting these people processed before you're setting the listing appointment, or are you doing it all at the same time? Or, I mean, the buyer appointment.
Yeah, I'm doing it all at the same time.
So I'm okay if you do that. That's what we'll do too, especially with newer ISAs that come on. They'll take the app and then set the appointment out for a couple days. They'll give the lender a chance to call, confirm the information, and know if they're approved or not. And then if they end up getting declined, we can just cancel that appointment and didn't end up wasting their time or the agent's time. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that's the way you're doing it right now.
No, I'm sending them off to a lender. Mm-hmm. And then once the lender gets back to me and says, hey, I got them pre-approved, or if they can't get a hold of them, I tell them to bring it back to me, and I'll follow up with them. But I
Uh, 3 weeks being ISA, man, these are solid numbers with 30 show-up confirms. Already getting people pre-approved before you're setting appointments. 280 volume. Are you on an auto or a triple line dialer or a single line dialer?
I'm running two at a time. I'm not running the triple. I don't really run the dialer as much. I'd say probably half of my leads come from new internet leads that just registered. I call them within a few minutes, and then the rest are just me cleaning up the database, going through age data.
Cool. Yeah, as that bad boy grows, you're definitely going to want to work on a dialer. So I like the actual valid conversation to appointment ratio, have 100% confirmed show up. As a owner or somebody that's making investments in people, I would want to know how can I double that, and the only way I can do that is leveraging technology. And as you're calling new leads and welcoming them in with probably a great response time, great job with that, but also running people back through the dialer and hopping on that and making sure we're calling every single person 7 times unless we actually get a hold of them to get them out is what I would be doing as well. And you definitely would be able to expedite that volume a little bit.
Well, and I'd like to, and I definitely can. It's just that right now I don't have the real estate agents to handle any more volume. So we're working on that, and as soon as that happens, we'll look into running Vulcan 7 or, trying to ramp it up a little bit. But I've actually had to ramp down some just to get everything within a manageable.
I guess that's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
I like it, man. All right, well, tell your team lead or broker or whomever to get on the recruiting ball, right?
We're on it. I'm even helping out with that. So.
All right, man. I like you're taking advantage of everything, man. I like your attitude, and I'd love to see this larger sample size as this grows. So keep it up.
Heck
cool.
Yeah.
All right, Nikki, was you able to ever to unmute you up there with the Berry Group? Was you able to figure that out? No, Mike, it's not working. Okay, let's keep this moving. Carlos, actually, Christine Smith, you want to unmute yourself?
Hi.
Christine, how's Christine today?
I am doing well. I don't have any data in the call log tracker sheet. I just kind of got that running this morning. It wasn't in my Dropbox originally, but I will definitely for next week's calls.
Cool. So you're just going to start tracking all your numbers this week?
Correct.
All right. Love it. I guess we'll keep moving, and we'll see where you're at next week with some of the stuff. All right?
Okay.
Love it. Cindy Lewis.
Hey, Adam. How are you?
Outstanding. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you. Appreciate you calling me today.
Yeah. What's your numbers look like?
Well, I'm kind of one of those, I think, odd fit people. We're still working on trying to get some kind of numbers put together, but I can give you a general idea. Maybe that's something you can help me with in the long run.
Okay.
And I'm looking at the calendar and going, okay, for the past 2 weeks, I have set 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26 appointments. And out of those, maybe 3 of them, one of them the house sold before we could get them in to look at it.
Okay.
And one I did not have properly pre-qualified. We don't have a pre-qualification process. We just have to go with their word. And then the other one, we just didn't.
That has to be improved. We can't just trust them, right?
I know, right? I agree.
All right. So So I like 26 appointments or so. Yeah, I'd like to know the volume that got you there, but also how many valid conversations did you have to set 26 appointments?
Exactly.
And then that's the number we really want to figure out from an ISA standpoint or from an owner standpoint. I want to know how many conversations I need to have in a day to get a qualified appointment, and then being able to track everything from a call, connects, valid conversations, pre-approval attempts, buyer appointment set, listing appointment set, what confirms out, and then also holding my agents accountable to get those to the closing table.
Exactly.
So, cool. Well, we'll spend some time on the spreadsheet, and I promise you're going to get better at it. Usually it'll take ISAs, 3, maybe 4 of these foundation calls before everybody's just showing up and we're on it. But no, I like your attitude, and you're going into a part where I'd like to see in the next couple of weeks all the stuff going into the tracker and stuff like that. So, because the volume you're doing.
A lot of my calls are in the tracker. Like when I set the appointment, I put them in the tracker. I don't have it pulled up.
Right.
But the latest ones I don't have in there, the ones from yesterday and today. Yesterday I made 130 calls, some of which are what I call hand dials. Have certain people that I nurture along over the weeks, and so I hand call them, take them out of Mojo, and I had a couple of showings out of those yesterday.
Good job.
That's part of what makes it difficult for me to track my calls, because a lot of them are just single calls.
Okay. Without a doubt, we'll get it honed in, and then also help you control that quality metric. We're sending about, 80, 2, 4, 6, 8. We're sending about 85 appointments a month right now, and these are qualified appointments, buyer appointments, and qualified listing appointments. And if we didn't have that quality metric in there, they could probably set 150 appointments. But I just don't want appointments just to say I got an appointment. I only want to pay for, and through my brand promise of how I recruit my agents is you're being put a qualified appointment on your calendar, an in-office buyer consultation, or at a neutral place, or depending on the situation, if it has to go to a showing before they hire us, I'm okay with it. That's just not the norm, And to be able to recruit people to say, oh well, nobody else in town can offer pre-approved appointments to be put on my calendar, whether they're listing appointments or buyer appointments. So it helps with our brand promise with recruiting as well. It's just a little extra work to deliver that quality from the call center.
I'm listening.
All right, love it. Do you recommend pre-approval before the call and meeting with an agent? Absolutely, Heidi. It goes back to the value that I was talking in terms of compare and contrast and being able to deliver value. This is more than just a website. It's a communication tool. We can let you know your credit score for free in a matter of minutes, your debt-to-income ratio, get you exact payments on stuff like that. No obligation, no hassle, no spam. And once you're constantly talking about that stuff with your database and offering that to them, once they're ready to come back and get pre-approved and they know that you've already offered that stuff, we process a lot of pre-approval attempts. And so, but it's not just because we're telling people they need to get pre-approved before they get out and look at houses. We talk about the value and we talk about the why. And you guys are going to be exposed to that during our live calls and as we move forward through training over these next 6 months. So, all right, Jarrett. So Joy Rice is next on deck. Joy, you're unmuted.
Hi, Adam.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing outstanding.
Good.
So, you finally
call,
pulled.
By the way, so I'm not fully sure of the process. So it's just that's my disclaimer.
Right. So you have asked me questions over the last couple of years here and there. So I'm glad to see you finally pulled the trigger and jumped in. So good job.
Thanks.
Do you have an ISA? I guess bring me up to speed with the structure of your team or your situation with ISA stuff, and let's go from there.
I'm happy to. So I'm the team leader, my husband and business partner, and I have a team of 10 We've had an ISA for the last 2.5 years. We brought her on, and at the time I'll admit we did not do a great job of training her because we were growing, and as we grew, we let some things slip through the cracks, and training her was one of them. So we are now onboarding a brand new ISA. Stacy, she's with us on this call today. So what we committed to was putting together, getting involved in a coaching program so that we're setting Stacy up for success. I'm the team leader right now until we have Stacy up and running. I'm also the ISA. I've had 117 conversations in the last week, booked 19 appointments, set 3 listing appointments, executed 6 contracts. Our CRM that we use is Infusionsoft and Real Geeks.
Infusionsoft and Real Geeks. Did you switch off Boomtown?
Yeah, we got out of Boomtown. We got out of Boomtown. My husband's the entrepreneur, and he there were a lot of things with the back end of that system that did not work for our team. So
right, they haven't. If you're a tech type of person, they're not tech friendly in terms of APIs that can connect and communicate with the platform, and so Infusionsoft ties into Real Geeks. I'm assuming that's why you switched to them. Cool.
We've been with Real Geeks for a while, but it's just we are hanging on to Real Geeks for now, and just got away from Boomtown.
So pretty much 6 valid conversations to a qualified appointment. So for me, when I prospect or I'm out here generating business, it's every 8 valid conversations I can set a qualified appointment, listing or buyer. So I don't know if you're going to be able to improve personally yourself with that too much more, but really looking forward to getting Stacy in between 8 to 12 to 1 would be an ideal target for her. Now, the old ISA, you guys just let that person go, or they ended up leaving on their own, or so Stacy's only ISA?
Right. Yes, she is. So we call it. We love them all the way to the door. Through our systems and accountabilities, they rise to the occasion, or they show themselves out, unfortunately.
Right.
And that's what happened.
Okay. Right. Okay. The good news, Stacy, is you're basically hopping in with a great team in terms of listening to Shelly, Barbara, Deborah, and then having access to call nights. I would suggest also come to call nights where you're able to listen to live calls and where I'm actually on the call as well, giving good feedback and stuff like that. And so we'll get you ramped up, Stacy, and I promise you'll be hitting on all cylinders here soon. So
thanks for that, Adam.
What's her background?
So
just profile.
She's licensed in 2 states, and she's coming to us from the corporate sales background. She went back into the corporate world whenever the market started misbehaving, and now she's coming back into real estate. But this is her platform for getting back into a sales position. So anybody coming into our team has to start out as an ISA going forward.
I think that's huge. Realistically, when I created the call center 6 years ago, that was how it was really intended to be built, was to use it as a training module to get people to become an agent. What happened is I ended up getting a good retention rate and finding people that just wanted to be inside sales, not outbound. So but listening to live calls and taking the Tony Robbins approach is really where people, when they wanted me to get into coaching, I'm like, I don't have time for it with going through growing pains of figuring all this out. But then I'm like, we train a lot of agents, and I'm like, why don't we just plug them in, screen share with us? We're not even the best prospectors. We're probably the most consistent. Just give everybody our systems with 8 hours a week training, and nobody else can match that type of hands-on experience. And so take advantage of everything, guys, and I look forward to working with you guys. So.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. It's been great so far. We appreciate it.
Cool. Love it. All right. Moving on. Lance. Thank you. No problem.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, what's going on, Lance?
All right. Doing great. So I'm with Billy and Heidi. I'm one of the 3 ISAs in our team. I'm basically handling most of seller leads. Right now I'm working on expired, taking my chances on withdrawn and canceled listings all the way back from last year as well.
Tough calls, man. Tough calls.
Okay, so for last week I had, let's see here, total of 540 dials. I'm using a Mojo triple dialer, so I have 540, 80 connects, 29 valid conversation, and I have 2 buyers appointment and 2 sellers appointment.
That seems like a lot of connects for only 29 valid conversations. What's your source with expired and FSBOs? Are you using Mojo, Vulcan 7, TorchX? What are you using?
For FSBOs, we're using Mojo, and for expired and withdrawn listings, we're still using LandVoice.
LandVoice.
Yeah.
All right. And how are you? Where are you getting your buyer appointments from? You're just flipping these expired and withdrawal or cancellation calls to buyer appointments too, or where's that source coming from?
Well, we kind of implemented a system where I'm also kind of getting some of the buyer leads now. So right now I'm working on in my pipeline I have 72 buyer leads. So that's where I'm getting it from.
Okay. Love it. Cool. How long have you been doing this?
As an ISA for over a year, and with Billy and Heidi's team, 7 months.
All right. Cool. Well, I look forward to working with you guys. You guys seem like a tight-knit group. Everybody showing up and doing things together. So I look forward to being able to work with you too, Lance. So keep it up. All right. Melanie, Prentice's team. Got you on that auto dialer. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing great. So I know Prentice has been on vacation. You've been tearing it up while he's been gone?
Trying my best. He's back now. We've had some technical difficulties this week. But
really?
Yeah, we still managed to do okay. But there was 6 days. We found out Tuesday morning is when we realized that we had 6 days worth of new leads that we missed. So that was not good news. But it's a good thing that we figured it out. Prentice figured it out Tuesday morning before I got here, and so I guess by late Tuesday afternoon they had it fixed, and we got our first new lead coming back through. So that was pretty exciting to see one coming back through. But still ended up with part of this is hand dial and part of it is on the dialer because of those issues. But 282 dials, 91 contacts, 46 valid conversations. I had 2 confirmed appointments that are already gone in the past, and then 2 future buyer appointments and 2 future seller appointments. And I've got 2 that are currently working with our lender partner.
Your numbers are continuously growing. So you getting the pre-approval attempt stuff going, a couple of listing appointments, a couple of buyer appointments, a couple of confirmed stuff. 2, 4. I like that.
I think next week will be much better if everything works properly for us next week. I wasn't even here Friday because my daughter's graduation in East Tennessee, so we went out of town for graduation. So that was excluding Friday as well.
Well, it's 11.5 valid conversations to qualified appointment being set. So it's like what I challenged you on over these last couple weeks is the technology piece to that, and really doubling those calls. And so I'm sure that you'll be able to do that. 282 dials. Our ISA is call and use data because we run the hybrid system that we coach you guys on, and so 200 dials, 250 could be a session for them or a day.
Oh yeah, I did that one day last week. I think it was Thursday that I did over 300 calls just on Thursday. So.
Okay, so we're building up that hustle muscle in terms of call volume. So I like it. Okay, cool. Just that technology glitch. So, all right, love it, love it. You come to call night tonight?
Of course.
Cool.
I wouldn't miss it. I love it.
Call night is definitely where everything comes together in terms of the coaching, the live calls, live feedback from myself, and so it's a good time together. So
it's very motivational for me. So like last week, I was late. I was planning on leaving here in time to be at home because I like to be in front of my Big Mac computer, not Big Mac hamburger. But anyway,
okay.
I like to be in front of my Big Mac computer because I can see and chat and everything better, so I like to be
right.
at home. But I didn't get out of here in time to do that last week, so I just plugged it in, let it play through my speakers in the car, and until I got home, then I switched off. That's why sometimes you see 2 or 3 of me in there.
Love it, love it, love it. Keep up the work ethic and keep taking advantage of everything and keep building this stuff out. So I like the progress, but more importantly, I like the attitude. So I'll see you at call night.
All righty, I look forward to it. Thanks.
Yep. All right, guys. So let's get into some fun here. Everybody can see my screen, right? Everybody can see the ISA call log. This is what we're going to start with. Circle. Let me download this other sheet real quick. Okay, so to answer your question, the gentleman's question when he asked about how to input data and how to get it to populate across other tabs or sheets, everything starts here. I look at I have our ISAs really look at this as this is their timesheet. So I know a couple of you guys are like, oh, I haven't logged my numbers in a couple of days, or I haven't, it's just been a couple of days. In our team model and the policy that we have within our team in the ISA department is you have to log each shift. So you're going to have multiple sessions throughout the day, depending on the lead source, or if you go to lunch. Before you leave to go to lunch, you put your session in there. I want to be able to track your talk time and then all of the numbers on each lead source and the time of day that we was calling them. So, for an example here, Deborah, Barbara, Shelly, they all have multiple sessions that they're logging. Before lunch, after lunch, or if they run out of data or switch a lead source, then they'll come in here and upload their numbers in here. And I know some of you guys said, well, this takes too long, or it's just a hassle. And this is a primary focus of us, is understanding our numbers and understanding where our money is best spent with our ISA. And so it really doesn't take that much time. It's just a belief system you have up front until you have the habit and the rituals of putting this information in here and tracking it. And then somebody like myself, I can look at the call log and know why we're having a bad month, or maybe issues with data or the lead source and stuff like that. All right. So putting in the actual date is pretty self-explanatory. Then you guys can modify this for your lead sources. These are the lead sources. We dropped Commissions Inc., so we don't have them any longer. But live chat, I want to even know, our live chat is huge, guys, and you'll see our ISA is running that. About 30% of our appointments that we set come from our live chat and the communication that we have throughout the database, squeezing them to a phone call. And I want to know where, if we convert one of those. And so there's a source there for that. Sign call, old sign calls, run through our call center. All of our IVR, text to writer numbers, Boomtown buyers, just listed, just sold stuff. And so whatever lead type it is that they called on for that session, they're highlighting it. Then you'll be able to, right now it says ISA 1, ISA 2, ISA 3. For you guys, I'm going to show you where you can modify the ISA's names. And then it's a simple drop down so you just can pick their name. The reason it's a drop down where you're not typing your name, because if somebody puts a letter in correctly or whatever, the sheet's not going to populate. Putting the time in, you do have to put the times in correctly, just like this. And if they're not put in I got some feedback here. Let me mute everybody. I got muted you guys. I'd like to know more about the lost leads at the end of our session. Okay. Yeah, I'll unmute you, Cindy. I really don't know what you're talking about lost leads. So you do have to put your start and stop time in exactly the way it looks here, or it will give you some error codes over here. You do have to put in your dials, your connects. I really don't care about wrong numbers unless I'm tracking like a new lead source that we're testing out or something like that. I test really connects versus valid conversations, because we can make a lot of connects, but we might not get a valid conversation or a decision maker on the phone, and so that's the reason why I track connects versus valid conversations. Pre-approval attempts, buyer appointments, listing appointments set on that shift, pretty self-explanatory. And in the gray stuff, it auto-populates. So there's formulas built into the sheet that will auto-populate across these other tabs, and you can modify these tabs any way you like. I'm running a Mac, and some of you guys with Macs or other PCs, you had to go in here and hit data and then go to refresh. And once you refresh it a couple times, you start the spreadsheet, and then it'll always just automatically be updated information. So as long as it's going into the call log tab correctly, it will populate correctly across all these other tabs automatically. If not, just go to the refresh button. Okay. So here's all of our numbers for last year. Pivot tables and stuff are built in here. So let's say I just want to look at a certain lead source, or let's say I want to just look at an actual ISA. I can go highlight the actual ISA and just look at their numbers. Okay. We're actually rebuilding some cool sheets. We update them about every 2 years, and so we got some more cool stuff coming. What I'm really looking for when I'm even, I can look at team appointments for this year. This was an old spreadsheet that I grabbed. I didn't want to grab our current one. My lead ISA, Shelly, she was in there working on some stuff with that. But really what I'm looking at, with all the lead sources and all the ISAs together, I hawk this, and this is what I'm getting you guys to hawk. This is the habit where we just literally spend an hour together focusing on volume, connects, valid conversations, and then an appointment set, and then focusing on the number of valid conversations that it took to set those appointments, and then what our confirmed show-up ratio is going to be with that. And so as a whole, 16, we usually hover around 12 or 13. So out of all of our lead sources for the whole year, 13.3 valid conversations, we're setting a qualified appointment in the call center. So if that number starts to rise, 16, 17, 18, and I know why it's high right now. We went back and cleaned up a lot of data, old stuff. But if that number starts rising, then I need to go re-engineer which ISA needs some coaching, or they're just going through the motion with conversations, not actively listening, or having optimized closings off of their goals, their pain points, and stuff like that. Or we have a lead source where we're not getting good data, and we've been able to drop technology or pillars or lead sources because all of a sudden it was costing us more money than we was loving it in terms of the ROI that we was getting, and so we would drop that or switch to a different company or something like that. So hawking that valid conversation to appointment ratio with all lead sources and all ISAs is what I watch. But then if I need to re-engineer, it's just simple for me to click. I can talk to my team lead, Shelly, and then she'll get me in the ballpark of what I need to research or what I need to do. Then I can manipulate the spreadsheet and look for patterns and have the data tell me a story in terms of where our issue is. If it is an ISA issue, if it's a coaching issue or whatever it may be, and go from there. Okay. Also, all these tabs, you guys can reorder them. Let's say I want to come actually look at all of the ISAs at once. I'll just go to the ISA appointments from last year or this year, and this is a way if I can just kind of scan their volume and make sure that they're showing up and doing everything that they need to be doing on their shifts, because we run from 8 in the morning. We used to run from 8 in the morning till 9 o'clock at night. That 7 to 9, by tracking data like this, I just, I found that we wasn't setting a lot of appointments except off of chat, and then our investment wasn't worth it, and so I scaled it back down to 7, and Deborah works to 7. And there's a lot of time where ISAs are here by themselves, or there's not a team lead here. I'm always constantly coming and going. Or Shelly just left. She gets off at 3. She works our first shift. We run 3 different shifts in 6-hour shifts with an hour lunch, or 7-hour shifts, I'm sorry, with an hour lunch, to be able to get 3 hours on the phone, 3 hours off. And if I see call volume start dropping or appointments dropping, then this tab right here, I love to just come and look at this tab. And then have a talk with the team lead or the ISA. Also can look at it for appointments for this year, this week, last week, and so on. Team appointments this week tab, ISA appointments for the year. That's really what I'm watching. I want to know how many hours of talk time we're spending on the phone to set an appointment, percent, the valid conversation to appointment percent, and those 3 right there are the most important to me. But however, the most valuable one is that valid conversation to appointment ratio. Okay. So I'm going to open this up right now and take some questions off of some of the issues you guys have been having with the spreadsheet to get the data in here, to get it to populate across these other tabs. If you're not getting the data in correctly, then you're going to have a bunch of just characters or whatever it may be, and not actual data. But if you're putting it all in and you're feeding it into the call log, into the yellow sections correctly and accurate, then it'll populate across all the other tabs. And your spreadsheet will seem simple until it starts growing with data. But I'm going to open this up. I know some of you guys might have some questions, and go from there. Try to keep. Yeah.
Hey, so I'm pretty sure, and I just want to warn everybody else not to do this. When I went through and I deleted the ISA 1 and ISA 2 and stuff, it really messed this spreadsheet up for me. And now that I'm seeing you going through it, I know that mine is still not working properly. So if you could send me that, but I just want to give everybody a warning not to go in and like you told me earlier, not to delete all that stuff.
So here's what he's talking about. Here's what your guys' spreadsheet looks like when you get it from us. So what we had to do to make these other tabs and pivot tables work correctly is we had to go in there and simulate some data for you guys. That spreadsheet that you're looking at is a living, breathing spreadsheet of almost 4 or 5 years. And actually, we got some new cool ones coming out too, and I'll get them to you guys too once we get those out. But don't go through and just copy and then clear the cells, because you're going to clear out all of the formulas. What I suggest that you do is leave that data in there, and then as you just put your data into the new cells, you just replace that data until you cycle everything out. And then right here, guys, is where you change the stuff. So highlight these fields where it says line 1, line 2, line 44, and then right click, and then you unhide, and then you're going to be able to make your adjustments with your call types that's hidden up here in the corner, and then also you're going to be able to change the ISA from 1 through 10 to whatever your ISA's name is, right? Then you hit save, and then leave line 44 highlighted, and then just go back to line 3 and collapse. Pretty simple stuff. All right. But that is the biggest mistake that people get when they do get the spreadsheet. They're like, oh, it's got stuff in there, and they just go in there and clear all the cells out. Just replace it, okay? So we know how to modify it, optimize it for your guys' lead source for your ISA's names. And also, once you add ISAs in there, as the spreadsheet grows, you guys could see that I had like 10 ISAs. I've left them in there so I can go back and look at data from previous years, or just have things to compare to year over year. This is a pretty simple spreadsheet, though, that will get you guys what you want in terms of data, what you're looking at with calls, conversations, all this stuff, and then breaking it down per sources. Any questions, guys, off of this stuff? Any? Pretty simple. Okay.
Hi, is Kathy here today? Kathy here? Okay.
Who? Jackie? Here, guys, let's move on to the master tracker. Okay, so you guys might already have saw this sheet from the call center. So this is how we track our commission. This is how we track where the appointment went, if it was a listing agent, buyer agent, address, and then the ISA that set the appointment, and then if Shelly paid out commission or not. So right after the appointment is set, it goes into the master tracker. Once again, you unhide at the top to change your ISAs and your agents the same way that you unhide the lines on the call log, okay? So once the appointment is set, sorry guys. Once the appointment is set, the ISA comes in here and adds the status in here, or not the status, all of the information. The source, you guys can track the sources. I track that on the call log, but if you also have a team lead or as a rainmaker, you're setting down with the agents, because you'll be able to come in here and sort the agents that got the appointments, like Grant Farhall. I can pull up Grant Farhall, all of his ISA appointments in this sheet, the ones that was confirmed that actually happened, and then I can sit down with him and say, hey man, you've got 25 ISA appointments in the last couple months, and you're only closed a couple of them, and these are
the lady.
And these are pre-approved buyer or listing appointments, and so if you're only closing, 10 or 15%, that's a huge problem, right? We should be closing close to 80 to 85%. of these appointments that are set, show up, confirm, that are happening on the buyer side, especially since they're already pre-approved. And then also we know what our conversion number is as a whole with the company on the listing side. And so if somebody's not converting or whatever, then this sheet is a good way for us to see where our investments are at with the agents after we've paid the ISA, because some people structure a deal for an ISA to only make money when the agent closes it, but then when you tie those their livelihoods together, it creates friction. And it works in a smaller team model when there's camaraderie and there's commitment together, but when you're like us and you got a couple offices now that are where the agents just don't see the ISAs and there's just not that commitment, they never spent time together, I would rather create, what I did was to get away from that is I created a benchmark or a quality standard of appointments that can only be set, and then our agents can't complain because there's a certain metric or quality that has to occur before the appointment is set, whether it's a listing questionnaire where you guys have in your Dropbox about 20, 25 questions. We're looking for red flags, starting to do a fair market analysis or work for that to get them out there to pitch the fair market analysis, but we want to make sure we're only going on qualified listing appointments as well. And on the buyer side with the pre-approval attempts and only setting qualified appointments, we know we're not wasting the agent's time, and I can promise them that, but I do have a quality issue of 30% that I'm fighting, and that's just the nature of outbound stuff, no-shows, cancellations, starting the process with a lender, maybe really wanted to meet with the agent or see them first, and then they ended up not getting pre-approved. I control 70% good quality, but there's still that other 30% that's unpredictable, and it's just part of the game. But I would rather be showing up consistently on a quality basis for my agents around 70%, so they have nothing to complain about. But when I sit down and do monthly one-on-ones with them, or now our team leads, our coaches do that, then they can print these out and get them to the agents to hold them accountable. We don't do too much of that anymore, just simply because we're like a machine now, and everybody's committed to making everything work. Some newer agents that come on, we do have to work them through. Usually takes about 6 months to form good habits, and they're like, much is given around here, but much is expected, and so they know we inspect what we expect, and they're like, oh wow, they're going to keep checking on me until I just do what I need to be doing. Or if you have an ISA or an agent, rather, that is saying they're not getting any leads from the ISAs and all that stuff, I can come here and just do a quick glance and see that they've got 90 leads or 40 of them have come personally from Shelly. And the reason I've also had to track this too was before, how a lead is born with an agent and now goes back to that same exact agent unless the client asks to be moved or there's a decision made at the top. What ended up happening back a couple years ago was I had certain agents and ISAs favoring one another, and so then they would load each other up, right? Or move leads from other agents because agents wouldn't get up and work or wouldn't take the appointment or kept moving the appointment, and the ISAs are ready to get paid a bonus. I pay that $50 bonus for every time a confirmed appointment is set, and then we'll hold our agents accountable to get it to the closing table. So once again, I can break this down for listings, buyers, dates if needing. I can go back and look at all the appointments set, the ones that didn't confirm, ones that did confirm, to be able to track a confirmed ratio. Okay. Also, I can pull up not just the agent and tag an actual client to, or a buyer appointment or a listing appointment to them, not just through data or numbers. This is a way I can also pull up and print the names of the buyer set, or look up listing address and stuff like that. But as you spend time screen sharing with us, we have a whole dashboard, web-based dashboard built on the back end of the listing side where we feed all that stuff into. So simple stuff. I think you guys just got to play around with it. Once again, everything feeds into here. And then how the bonuses are paid weekly through Shelly. Every week the ISA turns in their commission sheet. And let me pull this up and see if I have. So these are ISA appointments that are coming up this week. Well, this is okay. So these are just all the ISA appointments that have been set, and it's put on the ISA's calendar, but it's also put on the listing agent and buyer agent's calendar the exact same way, very consistent. And then after this appointment occurs, the agent goes back into their calendar and puts confirmed and maybe put some notes for the agent or something like that. Good feedback, bad feedback, could have asked a better question here, or hey, great client, thank you. So then the agent today, I guarantee that they came in here and looked at their calendars for these 4 appointments, and they seen which one occurred, and then they went to the master tracker and put that the actual appointment was confirmed. So let me pull that back up, guys. Well, that's not it. Did I close out of it? Got a couple screens open here. Hang with me, guys. Right here it is. Okay, so then they'll actually basically come and put that the appointment was confirmed, and then they'll document it, but whatever line it is, and then on Thursdays they'll turn in their lines off the confirmed appointments, and then Shelly will come in here, like for this Thursday, she'll come in here once they turn in commission and be like, yes, we paid it, so they can't turn in the same line. And if you need to lock this cell, you can lock it too where it's password protected, so team lead or whomever can change yes or no with paid, where an ISA can't go in there and delete that it wasn't paid and get paid double on it. We process and set so much stuff that we've had some ISAs pull other tricks. And you don't want blanks. We got blanks down here because we have a bunch of appointments set that haven't occurred yet. And if you have a bunch of blanks, it's going to mess up your auto-populating in this sheet. So even as much as you can, all these appointments confirmed, and if it doesn't confirm, still go in there and put no, just to keep a clean sheet. This one right here is to really track the content, pay commission, and be able to hold agents accountable. And then the ISA call log is purely a numbers tracker, so we can hold ISAs accountable. So I'm going to open this up, take some questions again from the master tracker, and then hopefully you guys get how we're using both of these things. All right, you guys are live. Anybody need to ask a question? Okay, so on the sourcing too, you guys can source this, but also if you're gonna hand this to your agents, like print, let's say Grant, we can go print all Grant's appointments, and then he can scribble on them, active, dead, list, no-show, and then you can have an admin go back in there and put if it's active, dead, listed, no-show, or closed or sold. We track this on another sheet in our transactions department. And it's basically tracking all of our transaction and TCs are putting basically closing data and stuff like that in there. So when we track the lead source off that, and so this is why we don't use this column here, is because it's just doubled up for us on another spreadsheet in a different department. So, but that would be good for you guys. And then let's say it's a, you know, if you're going to categorize your leads, hot, watch, nurture, however you do your data management, you can try to say it's an A buyer, B buyer, C buyer, and that will allow you to know what's in their pipeline in terms of people that are ready to purchase now, sell now, or you know, a B or a C lead. Any of you guys know who Bob Corcoran is? We picked that up from him years ago in terms of A buyers, somebody that's going to buy within 30 days, you know, and so on. And so we'll get into that later. But any other questions, guys? No questions? I want to make sure we got this spreadsheet down, guys. I want to, like, from this point forward, like, I want us making a commitment to get the data into the spreadsheets like our life depends on it. There's some people in the advanced group that they couldn't track their numbers, and they'd show up, and it's like, what are you doing with your day? And you're not setting that many appointments, and I can't help you guys build a solid foundation if I don't know the math, and if we don't understand the numbers. We could get into all the fancy sales training and stuff that you guys are definitely going to be exposed to. But if we don't have this piece figured out, and we don't have the right systems and the right tracking metrics in place, and being able to identify patterns and know our numbers, nothing else really matters. And so I asked the team lead to get rid of an ISA. You have to be able to fire that person or release them from your team if they can't be accountable to a timesheet with putting data in there, talk times, start times, all that fun stuff. And that's how critical it is, at least on our team. And so if you're paying me to really duplicate or do exactly what I'm doing, these are some of the things that I have to figure out from the very first day an ISA starts with us, is stressing the importance of tracking the numbers, because if I don't have the numbers, I have nothing. And the only way to really know what's going on in the call center to coach is if I'm working in it every day, and I'm unable to do that. I work out here. As you guys see from the webcam, there's a camera there. A couple of them are at lunch, but I'm not actually hearing conversations and building this out around me like I used to. So I got to rely on feedback and intel from team lead ISA, and then look at numbers on a spreadsheet. And I know when I need to go personally work with the ISA or work through my team lead to work with other ISAs, or if we need to let people go because the data doesn't lie. And so being able to track a return on our investment, whether Boomtown leads, expired, FSBOs, we're helping support our expanding offices. We just opened another office in Kansas City. And right now, it's a seller's market, and the lady that was coming in and calling our expired and FSBOs, like, our competition there was getting on the phone at 7 o'clock, and we didn't catch that we was being beat to that data. And we know what our valid conversation to appointment ratio is here for FSBOs and expired, and we know the timing of that, and it's just predictable. And up there, I was just assuming that we was getting the same math or the return on our investment. And my operations guy was working with Shelly, and he brought it to my attention. And he's like, hey, you might want to get in there and look at that, because our Kansas City listing appointment guys was thinking they should have been getting more business. And then I was able to say, well, our time is probably better spent pulling her back off of that data and getting her back on internet leads or just another lead source to help give them a boost, and we'd get a better return on our investment. And bam, we made some tweaks and some changes over these last couple of weeks, and now we're setting more listing appointments and more buyer appointments for them, but we would still just be blindly competing and getting beat up if the numbers didn't have the data to be able to tell us that, for us to make changes with lead sources on the fly like that. All right? And so that's why you need the data from a strategic standpoint. Cool? Other than that, guys, call night kicks off here in an hour and a half. Look forward to seeing you guys rocking with this live and direct call night. And I hope from today moving forward, like, this spreadsheet is easy for you guys. And if you guys have formula problems or deleted some of that stuff out, I can send you a new spreadsheet or whatever. But if you got a spreadsheet that is not functioning the way that you guys think it should function, please get a hold of me or Mark, and let's get that taken care of, because integrating these spreadsheets is the first phase to the foundation of our coaching. So, all right, guys.
Question real quick.
Mm-hmm.
On this spreadsheet, do you rely on the agents to go in there and confirm? So say if they got face-to-face with a client or a lead, who does that? Who's accountable for following up on that? The ISA?
So this calendar right here is the agents are held accountable that they have to go back in. This is the ISA's calendar right here. Mm-hmm. So the appointments are on their calendar and the agent's calendar. And once the appointment occurs, then the agent goes back into the calendar and puts that it was confirmed. Because as you end up growing, what's going to end up happening is the day commission comes, you're going to have a bunch of agents or ISAs on the phone trying to call agents to see if the appointment was confirmed, if it happened, hey, I need feedback, and then you're like going to be down half a day trying to figure out what's what. So with our agents, if you're going to take ISA appointments or company appointments, you have to confirm that appointment out in your calendar so the agent can log in through your calendar, because we all share calendars, to see if it confirmed it or not. And then the ISA goes in there and they put confirmed on the spreadsheet, and then the team lead comes in and will confirm that we paid it.
Okay, gotcha.
Cool.
Okay, yeah, just with growing pains here, we've already had ones where like 2 weeks later, I find out that, I forgot to get paid for a lead or something like that. So I'm just trying to come up with a system that works for everybody.
I've done it a million different ways, man, and I fought with agents and had to listen to ISAs complain, and I just came to a point where if you're going to be taking ISA appointments, then you have to make this commitment to confirm these appointments out 24 hours after they happen in the calendar, because ISAs come in the next day and they see the appointments that happen, and that's the first thing they do is pull up the calendar, see how much money they made yesterday, right? And then it helps them get started off on a good day. So that's usually what they come in and do, see what appointments they had set to confirm out, and then go in and see if they confirmed out, and then get them into the spreadsheet, and then they're going to start their day. So, throughout these different processes, in terms of the way our call center looks now with 10 appointments, we used to only set 3 or 5 appointments in 1 week versus doing 25 qualified appointments now. There's been a lot of things that will end up sucking your ISA's time, and they end up doing a lot more administrative work than actually prospecting and processing, building systems, working offline on stuff, and I've had to rethink things and make changes many times to be able to keep my people on the phone and just build a better back-end business for them. And getting the agents and ISAs to communicate through a Google Calendar, and then myself holding the team leads accountable to hold our agents accountable, it all starts with myself. So
cool. All right, that's all I got.
Cool. Any other questions, guys? I know some of the stuff probably seems boring, but it's necessary if you guys are going to be in real estate in a year from now. If you're going to help that company make more money, help the agents make more money, then in turn you're going to be able to make more money. This stuff right here is important to know, be able to track your activities and your behavior. As an ISA, you need to look at, like, the agents are your clients. And if you're not setting qualified appointments for them and protecting their time and giving them an extra boost and having, helping them make more money, then there's going to be no need for you long term. And so you keep in mind that your clients are the agents, and being able to service them, communicate with them like they're your clients, and set only qualified listing appointments and not try to push a lot of stuff through or gamble, and really wear quality like with a badge of honor of how you produce quality is going to be important to the growth of that company and your guys' commission. And I know we're all here to make more money, right? And to give and to just do it, but focusing on tracking and quality is important, guys. So, other than that, I'm gonna sign off here unless anybody else has any other questions. I'll see you guys at call night.
This is off the subject of tracking, but you mentioned earlier in the call about calling everybody 7 times. Can you say that again?
So when I say we run a hybrid system, our agents get the leads in a round robin, and our agents are on live sign call. And every single morning we come into when our lead ISA Shelly gets here. You see her do this on Monday mornings. Right. We call it database management call. We do an export from all of our lead gen sources, Boomtown, old sign calls, IVR, text to writer stuff, all the stuff that's went to the agents originally, and I don't care if the agents talk to them, not talk to them, every single piece of data runs back through our resource center. The nature of that conversation is different depending if the agent spoke with them, didn't speak with them, and we can get more into that later. But every lead goes into this auto dialer, and it's tagged for its source, so we know what we're calling on, so it's just not one big pool. But then we call a lead at least 7 times before they're cycled out, all right? And what I mean by that is we'll call them 7 times, might only, and let's say they don't answer, then they're just cycled out unless another behavior will dictate an optimized targeted call. But let's say we call them the 3rd time on the dialer, they answered, then we're going to delete them out of the dialer, and then we're going to come up with an action plan within the CRM and a follow-up. And so they might not get 7 calls just depending on the contact and then the mutual agreement in terms of the follow-up or the timing of their situation.
So they don't answer the phone for all 7 times, then where do they go?
They're just cycled out of our system.
Okay.
So I'm done with them until their behavior dictates another action by us. And so if they're printing flyers, doing loan calculations, if they're on our live chat, if they come back through another, text to writer, want more information stuff, then they'll get put back in our system again that way. Or if they're actively looking on the website or coming back and visiting it multiple times, then after that time, we still continue to text, we still continue to call. But I'm not one of these people that want to keep regurgitating my data so much to where I am losing money because I'm not keeping my people in relevant conversations. And I think that's where a lot of people fell at is they won't really want to keep their agents focused on old data and stuff like that. But if I called somebody 7, the agents already called them 2, 1, 2, 3 times as well. But from a company standpoint, we're going to call every single lead we generate at least 7 times, okay? But I'm not going to keep my ISAs on a bunch of old data, even though we have the data, when I could get them closer to a conversion with better data. And so that's what Shelly does is our data management, and it's what I used to do. And it takes, there might be 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how many leads you're generating, different lead sources, different platforms. You're pushing into maybe an online dialer versus software dialer or Vulcan 7 or whatever, or however we're exporting all of our old sign calls and IVR stuff out of the system we have and then having to get it into another place. So it could be 30 minutes a day, depending on your team, how much data. It could be more. The thing is there's only one person that does it on my team. They are all cross-trained on it in case Shelly's out. I don't have to, the call center doesn't shut down, but I don't want all of them wasting their time preparing their data for each of them. I want them to come in, look at their appointments from the night before, get it uploaded in the sheet, put this thing on, and give me 3 solid hours of prospecting unless we're processing an appointment. And then I want you to go to lunch. I want you to come back from lunch. I want you to give me 3 more solid hours, and then you're off. Gerbic is the majority owner of our team, and he's challenged me many times on why my ISAs don't work 8-hour shifts or 9-hour shifts or whatever. And the research I've done, and I've personally, before, we've been able to build this thing to where I no longer work in the field and just focus on development and stuff like that. I made a decent living prospecting off of internet leads and made a nice living off of it. But after 2-3 hours of focus time and prospecting at its highest level, I'm burnt out. And then by the time I went to lunch or something, I come back and prospect for a couple more hours, like I'd be exhausted. And so I don't want my people here just to be here or just to say that we're paying an ISA to sit their ass in a chair. And the only benefit that we'd be getting out of that is like live chat. I want intentional, radical focus on prospecting, and I want you operating at your highest level. I know when my ISAs are burnt out, and I know when I used to come in and have a bad day, and I wasn't intent and I wasn't focused, but I still had to get on and go through the motion to stay caught up on leads. I didn't convert like the day that I came in and I was focused. I had a pep in my step, and I was feeling it, my tonality, my pitch, I was listening. I was just in sync. Those days are going to be day and night in terms of results. And I want to keep my ISAs refreshed, if you will. And it's easier when you're just looking at numbers on the back end to say, well, why can't I just buy more of that or get more of it? Right. But if you try to push it or stretch them out, you're not getting your return on your investment. And I want to figure out how to take a dollar and turn it into something, not try to stretch it out just to say I have somebody on a shift. It's so also why I broke. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. I was just asking, so when they come in of the mornings and the first 3 hours, obviously if they have to schedule an appointment or do something like that, it's going to, interfere with that a little bit. But it's in the course of the day, most of the time, are they calling 3 hours and then going to lunch and then coming back and doing their data entry?
Yeah, so when I say processing, there's a couple of things. Processing to us has been many different things and many different ISAs to get to the core processes that we have now. So processing to me in terms of talking with an ISA is after they set a buyer appointment or a listing appointment, that from shadowing our people, you saw them set an appointment, it takes about 10 minutes to process an appointment. Get it on 2 calendars, send it out in an email, and then get it in the spreadsheets, okay? That's processing. And also processing in terms of after shifts or after sessions, adding the information into the ISA call log or the master tracker. But that takes five minutes. Our people, they have the spreadsheets pulled up. We keep it in Dropbox, and they're always constantly asking each other, who's in Dropbox, who's in the spreadsheets. I need to get in there for 2 minutes. And so if I have one ISA that has 3 to 5 sessions and put into the spreadsheet, it might have took 3 minutes each time, I'm okay paying for that 15 minutes to get accurate data, to be able to make intelligent conversations or make intelligent decisions off of the data that I have.
Okay, so when you say a session, is that, say for instance, IVR calls, or is it a specific, is that what you would call a session?
A session could be the whole 3 hours before they go to lunch, or a session could be, I burned up all the sign calls, and I'm switching to a new session. Maybe it's Boomtown Internet Leads. So, and the reason I had to start getting very specific with each ISA and each lead source, because I started having ISAs have drastically different results throughout the day on different lead sources than other ISAs. And so I said, both of you guys are getting the same training. You have access to the same stuff here, but you're just getting different results. And then at the end of the day, some would be like, well, I set a couple buyer appointments or listing appointments. It's like we have all these marketing efforts we even have an inbound ISA that you guys don't never see or talk to or see on this sheet because we track it on another sheet. Our radio ads, our farming, all of our inbound efforts are tracked in a different way. But, at the end of the day, when I'd ask ISAs, what do we do? And, we're having success, and it's like, where did that appointment come from? Was it an internet lead, FSBO? Okay, which company? Where did it come from? We was making money 4 or 5 years ago. It was working and it was great, but once you start trying to duplicate things and trying to figure out where your money is to be best spent at, I needed to track each source, each session, every activity, and every effort on every type of lead source, and then who was actually executing it, to be able to track all that stuff. And yeah, so anyways.
Well, thank
good questions,
you.
guys.
That helped me a lot because I've been trying to figure out what the best way for me to do it is, and so that helped me a lot.
Cool, love it. So Christine said, who is inputting on the spreadsheet? Each individual ISA doing their own, or the team lead? Each individual ISA goes in there and puts their own data in. It bogged down my team lead if they was having to write their stuff down, then send it to somebody else to input. It would just create more work for everybody, and once again, then nobody's on the phone, right? If everybody's just writing stuff down, getting given to somebody else to put into something when they could just took 3 minutes and did it. All right, guys. Unless we got any other questions, that was an 11-minute question. So, any other questions?
Hey Adam, it's Carlos here. I just have a quick question for you. What's your preferred method of contact if I just have a quick question about the spreadsheet or something?
I'm on Facebook Messenger, so Facebook message me and I reply that way, and you'll get a quick response.
Cool, perfect, thank you.
I manage my day in terms of with email. I only really check my email a couple times a day. Since I've been able to, keep building and doing more with our company, I'm able to not have to live or die through email like I did when I'm putting deals together and living out of my email. And so I know some of you guys email me. You might not get a response for hours later or the next day. So hit me up on Facebook Messenger or
awesome.
email Mark, and he'll take care of you.
Perfect, cool. Thanks, Adam.
All right. All right, guys. Any other questions? Going once. Going twice.
Yeah, why not? Last question. You said confirming appointments. Is that speaking to the agent and confirming that the appointment happened, or is that following up with the lead the day before the appointment and confirming that they're going to show and remember?
That's a great question. Confirm that it actually happened. So, but I do understand what you're saying. So with all of our inbound stuff, with our radio, farming, even all the ISA appointments that are set, on the listing side of the business, our inbound ISA, she calls and confirms all those appointments for the listing agents the day before, okay? And I do think that you should also be doing that as well, but that's going to take, a little more effort and a little more labor. But confirmed in terms of tracking on the spreadsheet, confirm that the appointment actually occurred, so then money can be paid or a bonus can be paid.
Cool. Yeah, that's something that we as a team decided was kind of a given, that we should call and confirm day before and call and confirm day after that it happened.
I mean, who are you going to call the day after?
Agent.
Or
it should be day of, like hour after?
No. Here's what's going to happen is you don't want to be calling a bunch of agents trying to see what appointments was confirmed. You need to push that back on the agents, and you see the calendar that I'm screen sharing with. You need to run a shadow calendar, your own ISA calendar, and then be able to have access to all their calendars. And after that appointment occurs, they need to go into their calendar and put the appointment happened or confirmed or didn't happen. So all you're doing is going to their calendar and pulling up an appointment and clicking it, and then seeing if it was confirmed or not in the context or in the description box.
Okay.
So you're not calling them, and then they're not answering, or they're not texting back, or like a gentleman just said the other day, a couple minutes ago, that he didn't get paid on appointments for weeks later because nobody confirmed it out, or miscommunication. And it's going to be a big time suck. I've already been there and done that when I had like 2 or 3 ISAs, and on Thursdays their whole mornings were calling. At that time we had like 15 agents, trying to track down 15 agents. to figure out if appointments have happened or not. And then they're just reworking old stuff because I didn't have good systems in place for the communication to happen. So if you want ISA appointments as an agent, you have to go in there to the calendar and put that it confirmed or didn't confirm within 24 hours after the appointment happening. So then the ISA can just go in and check the calendar and see, oh, I set 5 appointments this week or 10 or whatever, and I can quickly see that 7 of them confirmed out without having to call anybody or wait on a call back or anything, you know, and it's much more efficient and effective for both.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Hey, Adam, this is Christina Scottsdale. When you set an appointment for a buyer's agent, do you have an expectation of when the buyer agent should be picking up the phone, calling the appointment, introducing themselves, and saying that they look forward to meeting them on such and such day?
Yeah, you know, I don't hold our agents accountable. I do have our coaches or team leads that still work in the field. A lot of them do that. And if they've been around here long enough, they do that just to keep the ISAs honest. You know, they'll call and say, "Hey, just wanted to call and welcome myself. I know the ISA or inside sales agent gave you my name, but I look forward to meeting you and spot checking the quality of it." However, most of our agents, they don't call and welcome themselves or anything. They just show up to an appointment and rock it. But for me, if I'm an agent, I'm calling and confirming and just kind of welcoming them.
And her conversion rate is so much higher than the agent who doesn't do that.
Right. Then I would suggest, like, through storytelling, look what this agent is doing. You might want to practice this and see if you can maybe get the same result and encourage her to do that. But for me, even when I'm setting my own appointments, I tell them on the phone. I say, "Hey, I'm going to call. I know we're meeting here in about 4 days. I'll call the day before the appointment. If I can't get a hold of you, also I'm going to call the morning of. But if I can't get you to confirm that appointment with me, I'm not going to show up to that appointment because right now you're making that commitment with me, and so just look forward to my call. And with our listing appointments, you'll hear the outbound ISAs condition them for the call for the day before from our inbound ISA confirming the appointment for our listing agents. Okay. All of our listing calls are confirmed. Our buyer agents aren't.
Gotcha. Okay.
Cool. Our listing agents aren't prospectors. Our listing agents just show up to listing appointments and present, get paperwork signed, and then we have a whole listings department, and we take it from signature to contract in that department, and then we have another department that will take it from under contract to close. We only pay our listing agents 30%. Many of them make 6 figures, have a balanced life. They just show up, present face-to-face, get paperwork signed, negotiate repair requests, and show up to closing. We do everything else for them. So, but confirming appointments for them is what we do too. So. Joy said, "Which chat provider are you using?" We use SnapEngage. Joy, you're going to see our ISAs live running it, so you're going to be able to see the back end of it and see how it works. And if you got questions about how to set it up, ask the girls when you're on live calls with them or when you see them on a live chat. What I like about SnapEngage is it will send me, I don't have the reports sent to me anymore, they go to Shelly, but when I was first setting all this up, this is how I was able to coach my agents on texting, on how to position yourself, and it's like the Gary Vee approach: give, ask. So we pitch that we're a resource center, and you can chat with us from 7 in the morning till 7 o'clock at night, or 8 in the morning till 7 o'clock at night, and we're not going to try to sell you anything. We just want to answer questions. All of our ISAs are licensed and bring value, but there also is a skill set that we just don't want to give information and then let these people walk away. And so there is an art and a science to be able to squeeze them to an actual call after you give them a lot of what they want. And like I said, 30% of our appointments we set are from SnapEngage, and then I can have the report sent to me, and then I can coach the ISAs, hey, you should have said this or say that or use this line next time, and that's the way I was able to get them ramped up. Plus, I can see our response times, how quick we're responding to them. It's just there's a lot of good reports that it generates, and it's able for me to coach in real live time on live conversations. Also, I can set it up to where if I have 5 ISAs here working, that chat will go to all 5 of them, and then whoever can grab it the quickest creates a little bit of competition. Like it's easy if I can get to that and possibly get an easy appointment, right? Or if you got an ISA on a phone call and they're focused and talking, and then you just have it where it's just coming to one person or in a round robin with chats, then you could probably lose opportunities with chats, and that's why it has to go to multiple people. First one to grab it gets it, and go from there. So I used a couple of years ago, I spoke at Boomtown about Zopum. We used Zopum maybe 3-4 years ago, but we switched to SnapEngage a couple of years ago. Much better. So, all right. Whew. All right, guys, pushing almost 2 hours, and this is what you guys will also get. You know, these things are, you know, Mark goes for about an hour and a half in his stuff. I allot for about an hour, depending on where we're at with this group in the beginning. I have no problem spending, you know, 2 hours and at least getting that 1 hour break before we roll on a call night with our group and you guys. But we'll spend as much time figuring this damn thing out, guys, and helping answer questions, give feedback, looking at numbers, and really figuring these systems out, processing, and all this stuff so we can get to the sales training and the fun stuff. But I'm committed to staying on these as long as you guys are as well. But I'm gonna jump off here if you guys don't have any other questions. I look forward to working with you guys. It's kind of weird. Usually a group stays with me about 90 days. Every 90 days or so, new mass group comes in like this, and it's interesting getting to know you guys and you guys getting to know me and sharing stories. I think as you guys go out throughout this process, you'll probably learn to respect my style a lot better than where where you're at today with it. Kind of no nonsense. Let's just get to the results, and I'm going to hold you guys accountable. That's what your rainmakers are paying me for, is to hold you guys accountable, teach you the systems and what we have going on. I know you're quote unquote in a coaching call, but we're not a coaching company. Well, I guess we do have a coaching company now, but you know, we're a real estate team. We operate at a high level, selling about 1,000 homes a year. And just doing it. And so I look forward to really stretching you guys, challenging your belief systems, your thought process, to be able to start to tap into the type of results that we get. And there's really nothing special about us besides our belief systems and our work ethic. That's it. But other than that, I look forward to really learning together, thinking together, and looking forward to creating together with you guys. And I'll see you guys at call night. And you have a good afternoon.